Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Lottie. Lottie is from Ireland. So let's see what Lottie has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Lottie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Very well. How about yourself?
Very good. Thanks so much for taking the time this evening for the interview. Thank you.
No, all good, all good. I'm excited to find out what I'm going to be asked.
Oh my God. So, tell me, how was your day today?
Yeah, a good day, actually. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
been at my mum's.
Right. So, tell me what has been the highlight of your week so far?
Mm. I'm in the UK staying with my daughter this week. Um, so yeah, just that, just having some downtime, I guess. Yeah.
Let's see. And where are you from, Lottie?
I'm originally from London. I grew up in London. But I now live in the Boyne Valley in Ireland.
And why the change from London to Ireland?
Oh gosh. So dad was Irish, and for kind of 10, 12 years, I was delivering all my work in Ireland. And so last summer, I took the plunge and actually moved over. I feel like it's home.
Wow. And what was the biggest joy of growing up in London?
I would say London's a beautiful kind of multicultural
Hmm.
place. So having all that kind of different input and everything else where people were very accepted and, was a great thing that I sometimes miss.
Yeah, the buzz of London is just in London. You cannot find
Yeah,
anywhere else.
yeah,
So
without a
it's not
doubt.
good.
Yeah.
And what do you do for work, for living, Lottie?
Yeah. So I have my own business, and primarily
Mhm.
I run retreats and trainings. Yeah, so I work with the element of fire a lot. So I
Okay.
train
So tell me,
firewalk. Yeah, with fire. So firewalk instructors and other kind of shamanic processes with fire as well.
amazing. So tell me a little bit more about this, let's say, journey.
How I got there to doing it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
tell me, no, tell me a little bit about it. What is about?
what is it about? So to me, working with the fire is very much about working with the land and the elements and kind of stepping into relationship with the fire, becoming a part of the fire. So I work with very big fires, not like little candle fire, huge fires. And so to me, it's a part of ancestor reverence,
Okay.
and very much working with the land, working with the elements, and reconnecting with ourselves in that process. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Actually, I was checking some of your videos, some of your pictures, and I
Mm.
could feel peace. Just look at them. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
nice. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Great.
see. Amazing. Okay, Lottie. So during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
But before we start our journey within the Magic Box, always ask my guests during the interview if they can bring an object or a picture, anything that means a lot to them. Did you have
Yeah,
time to bring something to share with
I
us?
did. I was tempted to bring the thing that's above my head, but actually, in the end, I bought a feather.
Tell me about it. Why is
Um,
that?
so feathers are really important to me in my work anyway. I work with feathers a lot. But
Hmm.
this feather in particular is has been part of my journey to get to Ireland. So when I first heard about the farm in Ireland and being able to move there, it seemed a bit too good to be true. So I went out for a walk and I asked Spirit for a sign whether I should get excited or not. And so within minutes, I found a red kite feather, a big red kite feather. So for people that don't know, red kite here in the UK is the biggest bird of prey that we have. So a bit smaller than an eagle, but not much smaller. So I was excited to find this red kite feather, and I was a bit like, wow, that's exciting. But then I still couldn't allow myself to get really excited about getting the farm and stuff like that. And then, just completely randomly, I found this peacock feather as well.
Oh my,
And so I took that as my sign that, come on, Lottie, get excited. Um, so that's why I brought this peacock feather with me.
I've got goosebumps now. You're sharing the story.
Ah!
Beautiful, beautiful story. I think it's amazing. It's life talking to us. It's life somehow, telling us that we are in the right path or we are going the right direction. I think it's amazing. Wow. Thanks for
Yeah.
bringing that. I love it.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
Lottie, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through memories in life and share your point of
Yeah.
views?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box.
Woohoo!
So I have here my best friend. Full of wonderful questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna play a song that's first to relax before the
Nice.
first question, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it.
Go for it.
Right, so before I start the interview, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? Take another one,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Thank you.
First question, oh, good question. What does family mean to you?
Gosh, family is more than blood to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from, I'm now part of a family of really strong women. So my mum is 90, my father's passed over, so mum is on her own at 90. I'm in the middle at 56, and single. And then I also have my daughter who's now 26. So a family
Wow,
of strong women, but also that extended thing of like my close friends are important to me, and I feel like they are family as well. Yeah.
that's amazing. What a blast to have a 90-year-old mom.
I
My
know.
God, a blast for
Almost
sure.
91. She'll be 91 like in 3 months. Crazy.
So, and what so far has been the most meaningful lesson you've learned from your mom?
Mum's very opinionated.
I love it.
And people might say that I am too. Uh,
Right.
so so yeah, and also I think maybe a bit about allyship and standing up for the people that are not as fortunate as myself, or have a harder journey than me in some way. Mum was
Wow.
always great at kind of advocating for
Wow.
others. And I feel that that was a really good lesson from even when I was very young
Hmm.
about, acceptance and advocacy. Yeah.
And what's the biggest difference between you and your daughter and the biggest similarity?
Oh, um, I think biggest similarity is probably that she's quite a strong woman now as well. So she's growing up in that, and that advocacy and everything else.
It's in the blood. It's in the blood,
It
running in
is
the blood.
definitely through this channel of women. The difference, well, I think she's probably more mainstream with her music views. She likes Harry Styles.
And
So
what kind of
more,
music? How about you?
she's more
What's
kind of fitting in, whereas I think when I was young, I was a bit of a rebel without a clue kind of idea. So yeah.
right? Interesting. Amazing. Very good. Next question. Let's do it. All right. Next question for you is if you could be in somebody's place or somebody's skin for 24 hours for any reason, who that would be and why?
Do they have to still be alive? I'm thinking of like great, like someone like Gandhi or
No?
Nelson Mandela or somebody like that. Like again, I think characters that are like rebellious. So creating peace, but not necessarily always peaceful themselves in the way they do that. People like that always appeal to me. So I'd love to see inside the life of somebody
Wow.
like that. Maybe Gandhi, because of different culture and things like that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had the superpower also to sit down with him or and to ask a question, what would be the first question you had the opportunity to ask him? What that would be? Gandhi.
How did he imagine his life would be when he was a child? You know,
Int-
because I think so often our lives go off at a tangent and we get pulled into situations that we never dreamed we would be in. And I can imagine something like that for him. So when he was a child, like, what did he picture for himself?
Oh,
What had created the transformation to take him on the other journey?
it's amazing. What's the biggest joy of being Lottie? What do you like the most about being you?
Oh God, I love being me most of the time. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm lucky that I have quite uh my lifestyle is quite flexible. So I have like April, I deliver courses. So all of April I was delivering courses, but now I'm not delivering any courses until September. So I have time to kind of go out, connect with nature, connect with people that are important to me, and
Mm-hmm.
everything else. So yeah, I guess the lifestyle that I've created for myself, I love, and yeah, yeah, I love my
And
lifestyle.
and to believe
Yeah,
that you are living your best life right now.
yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, and I believe that I've been the architect of that as well.
And what's the meaning
Yeah.
of life for you when you think about life?
Ah, to me, so you also asked me to bring a phrase or a
Quote.
inspiration, and the phrase I brought was "risk is right." So we might need to go back to this later if you ask me for the phrase, but that I think that's a really key thing for me. Is like so many of my life decisions have been quite risky. you know, we are
Mhm.
moving. I lived in Burkina Faso for a year with my daughter when she was 10. Um,
Wow.
think things like this. And and I if I was risk adverse, I would have missed out on so much excitement and so many great adventures and things like that. Um, and
Wow.
sometimes that's costly. Sometimes it's cost me relationships and friendships and things like that. But risk is right, yeah, and it's take the risk.
I love that. And I'm so related to you, Lottie. And I understand that, for example, I left Brazil, I was 19-year-old on my own, and I flew
Yeah,
all the way to Europe. And when I look back, I said, my God, I was only 19. How did I manage that?
yeah,
However, and I agree, is a risk. You cannot have everything in a plate. You know what I mean? You need to
yeah,
let go some things. You need to, make some choices, and sometimes can be hard. Sometimes you make the wrong, sometimes you make the right, and it's about life. And I think
yeah,
it's a big adventure, exploring life, talking to life, and seeing the signs and follow your intuition. And the best
yeah,
thing you can do it. And I understand some people and not wrong with that. Some people prefer to go in a different direction, and it's okay as well. But we
yeah,
have this fire, and we work with fire, so you know very well there's a
yep,
fire there that it's just on all the time. You just need to get it, keep going. And I
yeah,
think
definitely,
it's
yeah,
a risk, but in a way, it's just feed us every day, for sure.
yeah, definitely, definitely,
Feeds our soul.
yes, yeah.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do
Next
it.
question.
Okay, before the next question, let's talk about your career. So I made a note here. It said retreats center, yeah, and
Mm,
also wild soul guides. So
yeah.
why is that? Why you have those phrases displayed on your page?
So I have just opened a retreat centre in Ireland. So I got the farm last year and we've been working hard to turn that into a retreat space. So as well as it being somewhere that I hold my own courses and my own retreats,
Mhm.
we're now open for other people coming. Um, and and that's really important to me. For my work, I have found it so difficult so often to find a retreat centre space that was genuinely open to land honouring and working with the fires and everything else, rather than being inside a shiny yoga studio, we're out on the land. And so that's where the retreat centre comes from. Wild Soul Retreat Centre really is to help people reconnect with the mother, with the earth, with the elements, and in so doing to reconnect with what's inside themselves and everything. So that's the retreat center in a nutshell.
Okay.
And Wild Soul Guide, I was having a conversation with somebody just this morning actually about that, and why, what that looks like and everything. And I feel for me, although I train people in skills like fire walking and sweat lodges and everything, really all I'm doing is illuminating the path for them. I'm
Right.
just illuminating a path for them to be able to find their own way, to find their way back to spirit, to back to the Earth Mother, back to their own inside. So I'm not like, to me, that I just guide. Yeah, I just shine the light and let them find their own way through that.
I
Um,
see.
and it is about being wild. You know, I'm a little
Right.
bit feral, is what I said to my friend this morning. Um, so it is about, getting your feet dirty,
Yeah.
and things like that. So yeah, that is important to me as guide, and and connect people with the Earth Mother and that sacred feminine. Whether it's a man or a woman,
Hmm.
really, and enabling them to reconnect with that sacred feminine that we've really kind of lost sight of in our
I see.
society somewhat. Yeah.
I see. All right. Next question for you is, what do you wish more people understood about you?
Ah, sometimes I hide my sensitive side. I'll keep my heart kind of it inside, or and I put on maybe somewhat of a front of being this way, and yet actually I'm quite a sensitive little soul. uh so I think maybe I would like more people to see that, because I love a bit of banter, and I'm always I'm open to having jokes made at my expense and things like that. But sometimes I just keep quiet about what's going on in here. So I
Um,
I think I would like more people to see that aspect of the sensitive side of me. But then also, isn't that an interesting question? Because it's like, how could I display that more, then comes up for me. Like, what, so there's a whole kind of thing going on there, isn't there? It's like, maybe what I really want people to see is that sometimes I hide my own feelings, or my things to yeah, to keep face or something like that. So yeah, maybe.
how do you see nowadays, the society we live, or people with the social media, or people just feel like people that are more open-minded regarding spirituality, or different
Yeah.
ways of approaching energy? Do you think, or do you still see that there's still a stigma there, that people, they don't believe it, they don't want to get involved? Or do you think people that are more understanding, open-minded
Yeah,
nowadays?
I think people are more understanding then, but that might just be because they're the people that are in my world.
Right.
So I guess that's a could be double-edged in a sense. I
Hmm.
think people are fascinated by my spirituality, and I think the problem with social media is a lot of the spirituality is like up here in the ether, you know and we see these pictures of women in long white flowy frocks, and everything else. And so when I talk about connection with the land, and getting my feet dirty and things like that, maybe sometimes people have problems kind of tying that up with these images that they see on social media and
Right.
everything else. But I feel people are more open.
Totally.
Coming out of COVID and everything else, I think people really feel a need to get back out in nature,
Hmm.
and a need to be connecting with other people on a deeper level.
Totally.
And so people are more open. I think there's more people searching,
Yeah,
for the meaning of life, or something like that. Um, and so those people are generally more open, I think. Yeah.
I get you and understand. I think people they are more concentrated in their well-being, like overall,
Yeah.
like, they look after their selves, about their, their not just something inside about them. They need to understand, to be more, I think you're right. After COVID, I have the same feeling as well. I think people they're more, they somehow open their mind a little bit more about this connection with nature and with
Yeah.
the wild self, let's say.
Yeah, exactly that. I think all the lockdown and what's been
Yeah,
going on politically, more recent
totally.
times, and everything, people are thinking there's got to be more to this than that, and
Absolutely.
are seeking. Yeah, without a doubt.
3 questions left. Let's do this.
Oh,
Okay, next question is, what was your favorite thing to do as a kid?
oh gosh. Well, I can think of two or three things. Like I grew up in West London, and trips to the bunny park. So anybody from like Ealing or Hanwell area or whatever would know exactly what I'm talking about when I say about the bunny park. It's a beautiful park and everything, hidden away in West London and everything. And we used to go for these beautiful days out and take picnics, and they had a little mini zoo there and all this kind of thing. So those family days out really, yeah, strong memories of that. And also, my dad used to make up stories
Wow,
and tell us stories at bedtime.
wow,
So stories about Harry the horse and things like this. And I just like,
sweet.
yeah. And like to me, that they're still magical memories of my dad's. Like I can hear these stories still, and everything else. And so that's definitely a favorite
Wow,
memory from childhood, is just kind of, yeah, I guess both of those, the similarity is the family time.
totally.
Yeah.
Besides your mom and besides your daughter, tell me a person in your life, when you're thinking, when you're feeling the lowest for some reason, you have those days, you have those days that sometimes just hit us. And at the same time, which person comes to your mind for you to share it, if you feel like, what, I'm not feeling that great, let me talk to this person a little bit. At the same time, the same
Yeah.
person, when you're feeling the greatest, you feel like, oh my god, I'm having a great moment right now, I need to share this with this person. Which person comes to your mind?
Zed, every time Zed, I call her my sister.
Right.
We have the same last name. So Zed and I went to school together. And we became friends over sharing like coloured pencils in
Oh,
a geography lesson, and we've kind of been like really, really close friends ever since.
wow,
And yeah, our life stories are totally intertwined. I very sadly, she lost her husband when she was pregnant with her second child and everything. So I was like the birthing partner for
wow,
her. And when I've been in real dire straits, she's the one I would phone and go, I need help. And even just, I think it's like 2 mornings ago, she sent me just this random text message of like, oh my goodness, I used conditioner, I used shampoo instead of shower gel. And now, like, I had soap in my eyes in the shower this morning and I used shampoo instead of shower gel. And now it's everywhere. This kind of idea.
right.
Um, so, like, we don't see each other as much as we used to. We live like in different areas and stuff like that. But there's still that connection of, those
Right.
little moments of humor. When great things happen, we'll share them with each other. But also when the shit hits the fan, we're the ones that we turn to for each other. So definitely, yeah, yeah,
Beautiful. Okay, so she's watching this interview right now, and you have a
yeah.
moment, an opportunity to send her a message. What would you say? She's watching.
Well, I have to say, I love you, boo. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of something sarcastic I can say as well. Yeah, um, I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of her. You know, her journey has not been the easiest. Um, and she's solo raising two beautiful boys.
Oh,
Um, and she's starting a new business herself, training in advocacy for disabled people and stuff like
wow.
that. So yeah, I will say, I won't be sarcastic. I will genuinely say, how proud I am. Yeah,
Sweet, very sweet. Yeah, I think those people, friends, they, you don't go around saying, "Oh, you're gonna be my best friend. Oh, you're gonna be connected." It doesn't work like that. It's like a
no,
relationship. When it clicks, that's it. And
yeah,
in your case, when it clicked so long ago, and you still keep this bond, it's just a beautiful journey for sure
yeah,
together.
nice.
Sweet. Two questions left. Let's do it.
Okay.
Before the next question, tell me, Lottie, what is being spiritual for you?
Being spiritual for me is it's who I am, so it's quite a difficult question to answer actually.
Mm-hmm,
Like for me, it's not about finding an hour a day to meditate. It's the way I live my life.
mm-hmm,
And so yeah, it's and it's connecting with different aspects. So part of it is connecting with myself and my inner self, and showing up for myself and doing the work. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
it's doing the healing, um, r- releasing things that no longer serve me, allowing myself to have a good cry as well as a good laugh. You know, all those aspects of me are spirituality, but it's also connection with the divine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that will look like different things to different people. And so I don't really want to sit here and say what that is, but I think to me that universal beloved is how I would describe it. So connection with that, which involves believing that I am loved and held and everything else.
Wow.
Um, and then the third aspect of spirituality is the earth and the staying grounded and being connected with nature and the land and the spirits of the land. The spirits of the land are really important in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah, in Ireland, before the Celts, Ireland was um, mythically, would that be mythically believed to have been ruled by a race of goddesses and gods, the Tuatha
Right.
and lots of people have heard of some of those goddesses, maybe like Brigid, the Dagda, the gods, and things like that. But what happened when the Celts invaded Ireland? There were great battles went on between the Tuatha and the Picts, the Celts, and everything. And the Tuatha and the goddesses and the gods could see the damage that was doing to the land. And so they approached the Celts and they said, can we strike a deal so that we stop all this fighting, so that we stop all this damage to the land? And what they agreed is that they would take a third of the land, and that the
Mm-hmm.
Celts, the humans, could take two-thirds of the land, that the fighting would stop. But the Celts tricked the Tuatha and they tricked the goddesses and the gods. And the third of the land they gave them was inside the land, was on the underside of the surface. So in Ireland, it's believed that the land is the gods and
Wow.
goddesses and everything. So that connection with the land is really, really important to me.
Wow.
The people will laugh about the fairies and everything, but that's what the land is believed to be in Ireland, like this magical space. So for me, that connection with nature and the land and the elements is really important as an aspect of spirituality as well.
You just made my day now. I learned something new. I didn't know about that. Wow, that's
Ah, there
amazing.
you go. Yeah,
It's so powerful what you just said now. And I think it's part of us. Land is a part of us. It's all connection there. We are all
yeah,
connected. Wow,
yeah, definitely. We
beautiful.
we we treat the land so disgustingly,
I know.
really. Yeah, and yeah,
And so interesting because when people always say, "Oh, if you're burnout, if you're not feeling well, just barefoot, go walk in the sand or walk.
Yeah,
And it's so powerful because you just feel the energy. It just grounded you. It just, it's
yeah.
like a medicine. It's a medicine.
It definitely
Yeah.
is medicine. Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. Beautiful. Okay. Good question. I like this question actually.
Uh-oh.
What is the strangest way you met one of your friends?
Ah, strangest way. Well, trying to think. I guess, I mean, I do a lot of strange stuff, so strange is quite normal for me.
I
Um,
love it.
my best friend almost, or one of my best friends, and we've been like really great friends for like 15 years. And we met because I was project managing a Kilimanjaro trek for a charity. And he had signed up for the Kilimanjaro trek, and we ended up going hiking together to train for Kilimanjaro. 15 years later, we're still hiking together.
Oh my
So,
God.
so I call him my hiking husband, and we're actually going out hiking tomorrow. But yeah, that kind of walking up the hills, uphill, down dale, and things like that as a first time meeting somebody as a friend, was probably a bit unusual. Um, but yeah, for me, I guess because of my trainings and things
Mhm.
like that and retreats, I meet people firewalking all the time. Um, and this kind of idea. So I have a lot of kind of weird and wonderful
Wow.
times to meet people, and I think again, it comes back to that connection with nature and the elements, and
Yeah.
and and to me, being outdoors and like doing something.
Yeah. Wow. Good.
Like whether that is sitting around a fire or going for a walk or all these things. Like, I feel that this is how friendships and bonds are made, like much better than I love live music as well. Go and see live music or a show or something like that. This is how we create great bonds, rather than Facebook or Instagram or whatever, which are great for keeping people in touch with each other
Absolutely.
and everything else. I'm not like dissing that in a sense, but I feel like real connection comes
Yeah.
maybe when we challenge ourselves a little bit,
Hmm.
or we're outdoors, especially in the UK or Ireland. You don't know what weather you're going to get, all this type of thing makes funny stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And I like that. I think when you are in a place, when you are enjoying yourself, when you are, just being your truly self, the right people connects with you. They feel the energy. They are in the right place.
yeah,
Just a connection there, a genuine one. Wow.
yeah, definitely.
Last question. Ready?
Oh, yeah, already, yeah.
Last one. But before the last question,
Mm.
you work with fire. What fire itself has taught you so far?
I always say fire is my teacher.
Hmm?
I always, whenever I light a fire, I gift it some tobacco. So I'll put some tobacco in the fire because tobacco is a very strong, potent herb. That's why it's so addictive, right? But in a lot of the Native American traditions, it's traditional to give tobacco to a teacher, particularly a new teacher. Um,
Oh,
so whenever I light fire, I always gift it tobacco because I'm recognizing it as the teacher, and fire just never stops teaching me. It can be everything from you think you've got it sussed and you think you're really good at working with this element and this, that, and the other, and then the fire just won't light one day,
wow.
and you're like, really? Oh,
Right.
um, with firewalking, you can occasionally get a little blister, and
Mhm.
you know, it's nothing major. You can get a blister from a new pair of shoes or whatever. This kind of idea. But it's so funny to see people walking the fire. And what might happen is, they'll walk the first time and they're really scared and all this. And then the second time they walk again and again, they're kind of built themselves up for it. by the third or fourth time, they might be a bit like, well, this is just easy. I've done this now. And then suddenly the fire would just give them a little blister, just a little lesson, just to go,
Wow.
remember to respect me. Remember
I was,
what, like,
I was about to say that about respect, the element.
yeah,
Respecting is like going to the seaside. You need to respect. You know, I had an
yeah.
interview here with a lovely man. He's was teaching surfing, and I asked him
Okay.
what, and he said to me, William, it's all about you need to respect the seaside, the water. You need to connect with it. You need to ask protection. It's not just about going there and doing your thing. You need to ask
Yeah.
permission. You need to understand. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
understand.
definitely. It is, yeah. But to me, the fire is such a great teacher. Just, you'll never meet anybody that doesn't like looking into a fire.
That's so
Like,
true,
it,
actually.
it's a universal thing that, like, if a fire is lit, people just will just sit and look at the fire. Um, and I feel like there's so much we can just learn from that about being still, about sitting, you know, sitting, paying attention, and everything else. In these busy lives we lead, and we're so often staring at a screen and everything else. I feel the fire has so much to teach everybody, even if it doesn't have to be a great big fire. Even just a candle.
Yeah.
You light a candle, you just sit and look at the flame on the candle.
Oh,
There's so much learning we
wow.
can have, and you can learn so much about the environment you're in. The candle, the flame might suddenly go like this. Where was that breeze coming from? What is
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel that fire is a constant teacher. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, last question is, what's the best first date you ever been on? You're not
Oh,
expecting this question, were you?
no, I wasn't. The best first date I've ever been on. Mm. Well, I guess one that was a bit more unusual
Okay.
anyway is to go to like an 80s night with an old 80s DJ. I think it was Gary Davis, and like this kind of idea. Just because they can be quite samey, can't they? First dates. So that was definitely kind of unusual, and I like the fact that it was kind of something completely different and everything, rather than sometimes a first date can be a bit like this, right? And you feel like you're being interviewed and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
else. So I think anytime you can get something where you just get into flow and rapport with the person, you can just have a good old laugh, is always good. Yeah.
Tell me the very first time that love hit you that you felt like, oh my God, now I understand the meaning of love. Now I know what when people talk about love, these butterflies in your tummy. The very first
Yeah.
time, do you remember? It doesn't need to be a romantic love. Could be anything that you felt like
Yeah.
that's love. Now I understand the meaning of it.
I think probably as I was younger, the kind of romantic love, definitely. I can think of a couple of fellas that might
Yeah,
have kind of qualified, but I don't think I've ever got to a point where I thought this is love. This is the meaning of it or whatever. I feel like we're always uncovering what love is,
totally.
and love to me has looked different in different phase phases and stages of life. Do you know what I mean? So, but that pure kind of infatuation love where you go weak at the knees. I can think of one guy that used to send me weak at the knees. Good lordy lordy, yes he did.
Wow.
you know and I think to to experience that. But is that love, or is that infatuation and hormones and everything else? Who knows?
It's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel whereas now for me it's about maybe allowing myself to feel held and looked after
um,
and stuff like that, which is maybe like a different kind of experience of love. Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I believe that there are different kinds of love. You know what I mean? Love, it's a broad, concept. Let's put this
Yeah.
way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It can go
definitely.
different directions. It's just the feeling when this butterflies. It's like it's something, somehow moving you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Love it.
definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So then yet, let's play now the word association game. I'm going to say some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
Let's start with family.
Family, my daughter.
Money.
Money, creating a retreat center.
Love it. I love
It's
it.
all going.
It's okay. Fear.
Fear. Yeah, temporary.
Life.
Adventure.
Love.
Adventure.
Religion.
Religion. Boo.
Okay. Politics.
Important.
Sex.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like a good word for that.
No right or wrong. What comes to your mind when you say sex?
Yeah, growing into it.
Amazing. Friendship.
Grounded.
Desire.
Yeah. Control.
Regret.
Regret. Risk.
Success.
Getting there.
Wish.
To be seen.
Happiness.
Yes, please.
Oh, one word for London.
For London. London. Buzz.
One word for Ireland.
Heart.
If you could define, the retreat center that you are creating with love, and as I can feel when you talk about it, if you could define in one word, what that would be?
Connected.
And the last one now, fire, one word.
Salamander.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from.
Actually, when I said the word fire, instantly I was trying to think, my God, which word I would define that, because could be so many words to define
Yeah.
the element, but I love what you said. Wow, beautiful. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your friend, the one you mentioned that you know since you're very young.
Yeah,
I
Zed.
would
Yeah.
meet I would meet her for a coffee, and I would ask her, define Lottie in one positive and one negative word only. What she would say about you?
I think she'd say brave.
Mhm.
And I think she'd say, what would she say for the negative? Maybe lack of boundaries.
Okay.
That's 3 words, but
All
yeah.
right. If I would ask the same question to your daughter, would be the same answer?
Probably similar lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like adventurous
Uh-huh.
and maybe lack of responsibility.
I love the honesty. I love it. What's your star sign astrology, Lottie? I'm curious now.
Aquarius.
What's the element of Aquarius? Is fire or not?
I think it's a fire sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering.
But
Amazing.
I'm not an expert on it. So
I
somebody
see.
watching could definitely go, oh, actually,
Yeah.
and talk to that a lot more. Yeah.
Let's play now, Lottie, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Hey, Lottie, you can ask me a question now.
Yeah, okay. So the phrase I brought with me was risk is right. What, when was the last time you took a risk and how did it work out for you?
What a great question. My God, I love your question. The last time I took a risk, wow, I'm a risk taker. I'm like you, it's difficult because I think I take a risk every day, literally every day.
Nice.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I know what I'm going to answer to you now. And it's a very genuine answer that just came to my mind. Today I had a coach session for the very first time. I had a coaching session today. The work I work, they give you, as part of the benefits, you give like a few sessions as a coach, a therapist, and I just took
Oh,
the chance, yeah. And I said,
yeah.
you know what? So today I had one session today, a coaching session, and I felt like it was a risk because, as sometimes I feel like I'm very easy talking. I'm open mind. I open myself a lot. But at the same time, I'm a man, and men with being raised in society that you don't, talk much about feelings,
Mm,
about emotions. Anyway, so I feel like that was a risk because it's interesting because yesterday I was somehow I organized the session. I was talking. I was organizing, and this morning, when I wake up, I felt a bit like, oh my God, in a few hours, I'm going to have the session. And I felt like a risk because it's something that I never done. I was excited about it. And I
mm.
was like, very intrigued because I love, to talk and, to understand more about
Yeah,
life and everything. However, I felt like a risk, Lottie, because somehow it's something that was out of my comfort zone. I never had before, like let's say, professional coaching,
yeah,
session, and I felt like it was a risk for me because somehow that would lead me to somewhere. Could be anything. I know it's just the first session, but I felt like a risk, and I just understood that
mm,
this morning when I woke up, and I realized because the session was quite early as well. So I wake up feeling, oh
yeah.
my God, in a few hours I'm going to have a coaching session for the first time.
Right.
And I had this feeling of taking a risk, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's so, yes. And I like that because genuinely came to my mind this answer. But trust
yeah.
me, Lottie, I could tell you so many risks that I've
No,
taken, but I'm going to
right.
share another one with you. I'm going to share the very
Yeah,
first one that changed my life.
yeah, go on.
When I was 19-year-old, as I mentioned to you, I literally left Brazil on my own. I came all the way to Europe. I lived in Portugal for a few years and before
Yeah,
moving to England. So I think that was the biggest first risk that I took, that I
yeah,
even didn't know was a risk at the time because I was only 19. However, when I look back, I think it was literally one of the biggest so far. It was a life
yeah.
changing. So yes, and I think
Experiencing different countries is so fulfilling, isn't it? But it is a big risk.
100,
I went to live in
100%.
Burkina Faso for a year in West Africa, and I would say the same, like big risk.
Totally. And when you had a child as well, imagine, my
Yeah,
God. So, and I think it's a beauty behind, it's scary, it's a lot of things involved. However, it's stronger than us. We need to do it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
definitely, I would
it's
say.
it's stronger.
Yeah,
However, back to your question, I think yes, this first coaching session, it was a risk that I took. That for me, it took me, let's say, I time for me to do it. You know what I mean? To
yeah,
embrace. It was available for a while, and I felt, you know what? Let me do it. Why not? And I literally
good for
took
you.
this
Yeah.
risk. Yeah,
Coaching is a big risk because we have to expose things that we want to create for ourselves to be able to coach
totally,
to get to them.
totally.
And sometimes it can feel really risky just to
Yeah,
say out loud what we actually want.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did the first one. I was like, okay, done now, and I felt excited about it. But I felt
Right.
like a risk for sure. Great
Yeah.
question.
Great. Perfect.
Did you enjoy the interview?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It's great. Really
Thanks
good.
again, Lord. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for being so kind. Actually, you just literally talking to you, I learned so much. And you talking about the fire. I never had, anyone in an interview. I never had a talk with someone who works with fire. Yeah, and
Right.
I'm so fascinated about what you just said and what you just
Yeah.
explained. And I think it's amazing I just hope people watch this interview, they will understand more, a little bit more about that. And not just that, I
Yeah.
just hope that people, take a little bit more about retreats, about, connection with the earth, connection with nature. And I think it's all connected with us. And you need to explore, you need to respect
Yeah.
and somehow understand more a bit about. So I wish all the best for your new retreat that you are
Perfect.
working
Thank
on.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you so
just
much.
wish it goes
Yeah.
very well. And
Yeah.
before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by, you already shared, but if there is
Yeah.
anything else
Well,
would you like
risk
to
is
say?
right was going to be my positive message.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I
so
take that.
yeah, and
Risk.
so yeah, let's go with that because I feel that
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
live in a risk adverse society, and yet we've both shared about risks that have like really fueled great adventure and great experiences. So yeah, take the risk.
Love that. Amazing. Thanks
Great.
again. Regards to your lovely mom, to your daughter, to your friend.
Oh, and
Everything
yeah,
done.
thank you so
Okay?
much.
It
Really
was a
enjoyed it.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a
Great.
good night, okay? Take
Yeah,
care.
thanks a mil. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website www.williamandthemagicbox.com and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.